saying, everything's important until your health goes, and then nothing else is important.
Yeah.
But so she had obviously had to go on leave, and all my files got handed over to a new doctor that I would have to deal with going forward. And that lady went and did a little bit of digging and a little bit of research, because that's what you do when you've just been handed someone's patient file. And they found out that the previous doctor from the town where I'd lived before had picked it up when it was SIN 3. And SIN 3 means it's like precancerous, borderline, going into cancer. So you're about to get cancer, basically. So in that case, all it would have been is little up, like, it would have just been like, go in, little, it's called a LETS, and I would have been done. Walked out, and it would have been done with on the same, like, within a day. And 3 years later, I had cancer. So
they knew.
He picked it up. He picked it up, but for some reason, some unknown reason, it wasn't. He didn't mention it.
What? Seriously?
Beats me. So I didn't.
So like it was okay. So to get it straight, like he was aware that it's there, or
it was on a report.
So on a report,
whether or not
he might not picked it up from the report.
Exactly. So a bit of a mistake, bit of a small oopsie.
That pain and discomfort was one of the greatest teachers I will ever have in my life. The second we feel any discomfort or suffering, we close around it, our mind closes around it, or tries to fight it and push it out and black it out. We are programmed and hardwired to fight suffering and pain on every single level. We got to learn to lean into discomfort. You learn so much, grow so much. All I really needed was to work with what was on my plate. And that's where the stuff for leveling up is. It's what's on your plate right now in front of you. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So, this was a quote from maybe, hopefully, once to be a book from Sam. This was an Instagram post quoted word by word from Samantha from a couple of days ago. And that's what we are going to be talking about today. Samantha is one of the most mind-blowing and inspiring person I've ever heard of, and I was able to meet. She was, let's say, we'll get into it way more deeper, but she was not dealt with the best hand of cards for her life, and she's still here. She's still smiling. She's still killing it every day. And so we have here Samantha today, and we have Phil here. Phil, my long-year friend, coach buddy, and he is Samantha's coach right now, or one of the Samantha's coaches. So he will be leaning into giving us a little perspective of how it is being around Sam, with Sam, and what kind of training and adaptations are happening for her. So Sam, just to start pretty sharp from the beginning, yeah?
Yeah.
You are a cancer survivor?
Yes, I was in remission. I've currently just had a relapse, so I'm going through chemotherapy again at the moment. So I'm actually fighting cancer, I think you would say. I'm in a bit of a battle at the moment.
Okay, so you're a cancer warrior.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to cover all of that. This sounds super bad, but like the first experience or whatever we call it before, how it was when you actually got diagnosed, treated, healed, all of that. But first of all, how old are you, please?
I am 35. I had to think about that. I'm 35. I turned 35 on the 15th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, okay, that's 15 days ago. Still happy birthday, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you.
So 35, 15 days ago. What was your childhood like? Have you done any sport, physical activity, just like from this kind of perspective? Can you cover that? What sports you were doing when you were growing up? What was your life like growing up?
My life growing up was sport. So I think a lot of the grit and the stubbornness that comes from my childhood. We were actually laughing about it yesterday during a training session. We got on the box to do the tricep dips, and I had to just giggle because I told everyone, growing up when we were about, 6, 7, my sister's 4 years older than me and 6 years older than me. From a very young age, my dad would have us on the bath doing tricep dips, push-ups, sit-ups, stretching, you name it. So
your father had 3 girls, yeah?
Yeah, he had 3 girls. But he raised us like little boys. So yeah, we had a very, very active childhood. We would wake up on a Saturday morning and the family bonding would be to go for a run. We'd ask our dad, where we going to? And we're like, yeah, where are we going? And my dad would say, there and back to see how far it is. It turned out it was very far most of the time.
What was the, like, on a random, you said Sunday morning?
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday.
How long was the run?
Oh, I mean,
roughly.
It depends. It depends which route we took. Some of the ones around home were extremely, like, massive hills, because South Africa is obviously not as flat as Dubai.
Okay, so you're from South Africa.
Yes, yeah.
South Africa.
But honestly, it was wild. It would be between 5, 7. The run from home to the beach for training on the beach is usually around 4Ks. So we'd run to the beach and then spend the day on the beach, and maybe if we were lucky, Mom would fetch us.
If you're lucky.
If we were lucky. Yeah.
So you want to go to the beach? You better run.
You gotta run. But I think sport and training was instilled in us from an exceptionally young age. My dad still is a massive role model to me. I played hockey, water polo. I did surf lifesaving. You name it, we played it. Springboard diving, the beautiful diving that they do off boards in the water. My mom was the national coach for that. Have you seen that? The beautiful...
what it is?
The springboard diving.
Springboard?
Yeah, so diving like into the pool from the platforms and...
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
I don't know what you guys would call it. Yes,
like
exactly. With the acrobatic movements, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, diving like that. But my main...
So not like diving, like finding some corals and stuff in the ocean, but like jump off the board and
do a
1,000 flips, landing down.
Exactly that. So did a lot of sport growing up.
A lot of water sports, yeah?
Water sport, ball sports,
Have you done something on, let's say, like some kind of higher level?
Yes, I played national, so South African ladies water polo and then South African hockey.
What is South African hockey?
So it's so I represented my country for
okay. So that's
sports.
not the name of the sport.
No. It's a national team. So, but it's not a style of hockey. No.
Like with some shooting in between or something.
Basically, you run around the field and see what you can steal from the other players. And there's no electricity, so you're playing in the dark.
National treasures. Stealing, darkness.
Oh dear.
Okay. So, and was it like field hockey or ice hockey? Field hockey.
Field hockey, yeah. And I was actually lucky enough to play the SA ladies team. I played with my 2 sisters. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, we were number 8, number 9, and number 10. We literally sang the anthem next to one another.
Offense?
At World Champs. Well, in water polo, you play both. There's no option. You're up and down.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Cool. You had some achievements there?
On
like international level or something?
We went to World Champs and all of different... But no. Like on an international level, South Africa is not great. I mean, you've got all the other countries that are that's their profession. Okay. So we all had to have a career. I mean, and then play. And
okay. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So from other countries, that was basically professional athletes who
Yeah.
did just that.
Exactly.
But you
And then
wouldn't make...
us guys.
Yeah. You wouldn't make enough money just doing that, so you had side, and this was your hobby.
Well, we didn't make any money. We had everything was self-funded. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. My mom cracked a joke when she saw the photo. She was like, "Where am I?" And I was like, "Well, you didn't play." So she was like, "Yeah, but that's all my money up on the podium." And I was like, "Fair enough." Fair enough.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what?
After that?
Yeah,
After the national, So we always played the different levels in South Africa. So you play club level, you play provincial, which is the area that you're living in. And then obviously you play in national. So that's for the whole country. And throughout the year, the club and the provincial will be going on. It'll be ongoing.
All right.
So you'll always be playing. But like I say, you have to do that on top of having a career. So it's like full-time job and your training, I suppose. Like
And you were doing this until what age?
I did it until... I did it for a very long time. And then my back... I always played. I played up until I left to move to Dubai. But for the last maybe 10 years, I've really struggled with my back. So... Yeah, it was.
What was going on with your back?
So I have degenerative disc disease on. It sounds fancy. It's really not. It just means it's wearing away. You know.
Yeah.
And which is why I often say I wish I'd found CrossFit sooner, because it would have strengthened everything around it. I learned that now. But yeah, I think so. Basically, the disc wears away in between my L5 and my S1, which makes everything completely unstable. So. Many slip discs. I lived with sciatica. I couldn't bend down to tie my shoelaces. I remember playing.
This is crazy. Like playing a national or international level sport, but tying shoelaces. That's the challenge.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. I remember playing a club game, a club hockey match, and my boyfriend at the time had to. I was so broken after the game that he would have to come and take me and carry me to the bathroom and help me take my pants down and everything. It was like I couldn't actually function. Yeah, it was horrible. And then rest a little bit and go to work the next day.
And what was your job? What did you do?
I was head of sport, surprise, at a private school in South Africa, but we also own our own aquatic center in our hometown. It's a beautiful indoor swimming pool where we learn to swim. We had aqua aerobics for a little while and water polo, little junior water polo academy.
Your family is running it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, my mom. My mom's
Your mom.
My mom is 70 years old and she is still grafting from she's still working at it. She's still running it by herself. I want to put my watch on her some days because that woman she just clocks the steps in,
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I ran sport at schools for a very long time.
And that was more admin stuff?
Yeah, admin and coaching. So you kind of balance it. You balance it out. So it's a nice early morning. And then your day is full of admin and work, and then you can get out next to the pool or onto the field and coaching.
Okay, and then you're training.
And then exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
What made you to move to Dubai when you had such a great, sport career going on? You had you were working on your family's business, basically, right?
I think. By that time, I wasn't playing as much anymore. The pain it wasn't great. I'd kind of fallen out of love with the whole thing. There's a lot of politics in sport in South Africa, obviously because everyone's fighting for. There's always politics in sport, and I had fallen out of love with it. I was actually thinking about that a few days ago, how I'd even fallen out of love with training. And I mean, if you ask Phil now, that seems like the furthest thing that could happen. But it had just become about making teams, winning like that kind of, that had overtaken the love of the game, the love of swimming up and down and training and that kind of thing. So yeah, I hadn't played for a while anyway. Moving to, in my last job where I was working, it was a very small town. There wasn't actually a very good setup. So there wasn't much water polo going on there at the time for people of my age. I don't want to say that, but I have to. People of my age, I was kind of old in terms of playing nationally. And yeah, everything had kind of just died down. I wasn't playing anymore.
What age was this, roughly?
This was 4 years ago. So
4 years ago.
30, 31.
31. Okay.
Yeah, that's old, man. That's old. And
well, I'm turning 30 this year, so don't tell me this.
In terms of field hockey and water polo, it's a tough sport on your body, especially when we.
And you were still doing both?
No, not at that stage. At that stage, it had like dipped down. Always playing club and always playing interprovincial, but at that stage, not playing nationally anymore. Mm-hmm. No.
Okay.
Yeah, not playing nationally. You have a very short shelf life.
Yeah, well, many sports.
Yeah.
And what was the opportunity? Why Dubai?
Dubai?
What came along?
I had kind of just hit a wall in terms of working in schools. I struggled to get on board with the South African schooling system. I didn't agree with a lot of the philosophies and the way that they teach the whole education system in general. So I stepped away from schools, and I really did struggle. I butted heads with everyone because I was working in this traditional school environment, and I'm like the least traditional person that you'll meet. Very like, what do my friends call it, woo-woo. So
does it mean something, or it means exactly how it sounds?
It means exactly how it sounds. Like, woo. No, I have a very open mind and a very different way of. I think I did sports psychology, and I'm very fascinated about that. So let's put it this way: if I was a parent, I'd probably be like doing the conscious parenting thing. Mm-hmm. That probably puts it into perspective. So when it comes to schooling, I'm in a very different mindset as opposed to a traditional place where everyone has to wear their hair the same way. Everyone needs to wear their gyms down to here, walk in single file. It's like...
So more like a freestyle.
Yeah, well, I think every kid needs to express themselves within limits, obviously. But I do think that the traditional schooling system stamps down on originality. And I think especially in South Africa at the moment, where it's a bit of a dog show, and we're going to need big personalities and big new like ideas and visions coming out. It's going to be a fight there soon, and they're going to need to know how to do it. So instead of just like with the whole, I know I'm touching very sensitive subjects here, but especially with the whole thing of race and and the whole gender thing that's coming up, but you're going to need people that know how to have those conversations instead of just shoving it under the carpet. We need to be able to have those conversations.
Or going with the flow just because.
Yeah, you can't pretend it's not happening and put blinkers on. You need to, everyone's going to have different opinions, but it's how you say those opinions. And if we teach the kids how to do that, if we teach them proper discourse, we should be better off than we are now. So you see, it's already a different opinion, and a lot of people struggled with that. So I just kind of was like, I didn't have the fight in me anymore. Like I was always butting heads with everyone and going against the grain. And I think after 10 years, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I need more open minds, and I moved back to the swim school, and I was helping my mom run in the swim school. And then I think it was so weird. Within like 2 or 3 weeks of being home, my mom found the post. They contacted me. We had one video call, and I think within a few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I was buying my ticket and coming over here in COVID.
Okay. and what was that role, or what you came to do here?
I came to coach swimming.
Okay, so
Yeah, I came to
kind of.
exactly
Yeah.
same kind of. But what was really exciting for me is that it was obviously a private company, so there's no, and
So it was not for a school.
no, not
Okay.
for a school. No, I wanted to tap out of that completely. But it was so strictly coaching. So I finally have the opportunity to just be a coach and focus on just coaching, which is just.
You liked that change?
I did.
Yeah.
Did like that change. Yeah, it was incredible. It was
And who you were coaching?
children, so really young children, similar to what I was doing at the swim school. So I was doing learn to swim, and then I was also coaching master swimming. So I went from baby swimming in the morning, and then I was coaching triathletes and older people in the evening.
Okay, so 2 questions. How young children and how old the masters?
So baby swimming starts at 3 months, and then I'm not going to guess the master's age. That's rude.
Okay, but is it
No, like
is it people in 40s or in 70s?
No, all the way. So like your 20s, 30s, 40s, 60s. They're obviously different levels. So you have you have advanced swimmers who you have different levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, a good 60-year-old swimmer can outswim a bad 30-year-old swimmer.
You got the right.
So,
If you got the right technique, for sure.
So you're saying really the baby introduction to the water.
3 months.
Basically, 3 months.
Yeah.
Until? What is the range there? Or what kind of range you did there?
No range. 3 months to all the way up.
Like to what? Like 7 years? Or like
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh, everything.
Everyone.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
I thought you had only the children and then only the masters. You had like everything.
Everything
okay.
in between.
Well,
But my speciality was babies.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're 3 months.
But it's very wide scope, right? Because you're definitely teaching. I mean, what you teach a 3 month, right? Like you do it with them, but you don't really teach them, right? Yeah. So like teaching that or doing that, and then teaching a 3-year-old, and then teaching a 7-year-old, and then teaching 12-year-old. Just these will be insanely different methodologies, ways to approach them, right?
Yeah.
So
it is different.
So for each of them, you have your own strategies, techniques, how to teach them. Yeah.
Yeah, for the different age groups, they all have different levels and little benchmarks that they need to hit. I mean, it's exactly the same. Well, it's actually not the same. So I don't know how the CrossFit coaches have a difficult time. I look at them when they're scaling options, when you got like the top guy and then you got me at the other end. And I'm like, how do you guys do this in one class? It's amazing. My head would be spinning.
Yeah, you do 1 weekend course and you got it.
You teach this over your life. I don't think it's 1 week is going to be enough to learn this.
Yeah, that's the public perception of it. Like, CrossFit. Yeah, like, of course, they will tell you that exists on that level 1, which is 1 weekend course. But everybody who did it, level 1, and everybody, especially people who teach level 1, and the whole CrossFit community of the coaches will confirm that's barely scratching the surface. And then you just go with experience, and because the scaling, when we talk about scaling in CrossFit or scaling for even other sports, but let's say CrossFit, you never stop learning because there are people with different body types, people with different problems. People, you can scale pull up for, people without arms. That would be hard, but like you can scale pull up with literally people who only have one arm.
Yeah,
you can still do it for them.
It's incredible. Yeah. I'm mind blown, and I don't think. Listen, I'm a nerd, so I told everyone the other day. I told Dane and Akil and everyone that I had downloaded the level 1 book to just have a little gander at it, and I was like, because I find it so fascinating, the amount of knowledge and it blows my mind what you guys know about the body and about training in general and everything. So I wanted to just have a read over it, just to see what sticks in there. First chapter. I'm still in the first chapter, and I read fast. I'm on the first chapter. There were words there that I was like, I think I'm a pretty good reader, And yeah, I had to go like Google.
Yeah. This is actually just a very good feedback for Phil and his team in SANS, because if somebody with your experience of coaching and delivering some kind of movement knowledge, whatever it is, if somebody with that experience is telling that they're doing an amazing job and it's mind-blowing, well, then that means something, you know?
No, it's mind-blowing. When I compare everything that I've done in my career with the prehab, the conditioning, I look back now and I think like we were just standing there with our stretchies like this. We were about to go into an hour-long game against the Australian ladies team, and we were like warming up like this, beep 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 beep, with
just like pulling
the
elastic
cable.
bands, yeah?
I don't know what we were doing. We didn't know what we were doing.
Well, this is, you know, when we talk about prep, and the intent is the most important thing. Yeah, whatever it is, whether it's workout with a certain purpose behind it, or it's warm up, which is preparing you for a certain workout, or it's rehab, prehab, whatever it is, you build it around a couple of principles, because methods of how to apply it, there's thousands. Yeah, but you have a couple of principles that you follow, and you build it around it with your own style and all that. But the main factor is that there needs to be a purpose. Like you're saying, you're just like mindlessly pulling a pulley machine or
exactly.
Elastic band like mobilize your shoulder. But yeah, like what's the purpose, right? Why you do it? Yeah. And when you have the purpose clear, everything just unfolds in front of you, because then you're like, all right, now you're just checking the boxes. Okay, if I want to achieve this, what's the best thing to do? And if I have this problem, what's the best thing to do? It's basically also the scaling is just very fast binary decision making. You know how computers do all the ones and zeros. Like, is it 1 or is it 0? Is it, and again, another fork, this or that, this or that. And you just kind of come into conclusion by asking the right question. And the right question usually is, why? Yeah, and it unfolds in front of you. At least that's how my brain works with it. So,
and I just want to add it on top. I'm really glad that you're bringing up about the scaling, because have you seen the scaling and how it's helping for your goal? Unfortunately, a lot of people who's doing CrossFit feel it like more it's eliminator or like something what is restrict them.
Yeah.
But they not see the way that scaling wants to do today in 1 month will help them to do something that is not on the scale, you know what I mean? And it's our job as the coaches to kind of transfer that to their mind that it's important to do certain thing now, and there is the purpose behind that. After a certain period of time they can do think what they can do right now. That's why they need to be scaling. And I'm really glad that you understand that, because so many people they doesn't. So it's just like sometimes you just threw the stone to the rock, like no matter what you're saying, no matter which approach you use, people just want to show off. People just want to, like, because they know this, like, you know, what I like of CrossFit is like community, and it's like a lot of people in the class together. And some people with different mindsets, they will take this like challenge and an adventure for them to show what they can do, no matter what cost is. And unfortunately, the other side of CrossFit is people have got injuries, that people have not progressed, they have no like tolerance for the certain goals they try to achieve because they just rush to think. And like your experience with CrossFit, because like you find us, I not like represent our like box, we have bad coaches, but we will try to.
You have a great team now.
Yeah,
a very good team.
I believe we have like the best team since I started to be in Suns, to be honest. And we try to just as much as possible to clarify what is CrossFit is and help people to understand it. And if people do understand that they most likely have no issue with CrossFit. If people do not understand CrossFit and they just consider this like come and do as intense work as possible, unfortunately they end up very fast with CrossFit, and it's CrossFit not for me.
Yeah.
So this is kind of too different.
But it's with everything. If you do it right, you can get very far. Yeah. Even walking, like if somebody will do walking wrongly, well, they're not going to
even
walk
running.
for long.
It's
Yeah,
like
anything.
everyone
Yeah.
says they hate running, and I'm like,
Exactly.
well, you're not running properly.
Yeah.
You know, how can you hate running? We would literally, I think, we didn't always have cars and stuff. Like,
And yeah,
what are you telling me the story about the guy at the marathon? That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, but I do. I think I think what I was saying about I was so disillusioned with training and with playing sport and stuff like that. I will obviously always play. I will always play, but I had lost that. You know, I was talking to someone the other day about swimming training, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to go near a pool. It gives me like the, you know, line, wall. And what CrossFit has done for me is like, I am so in love with training again, because I've taken it back to like the grassroots, you know, and like you say, I've gone down to like, hey, you can't do that. You know, like, here's how you get there. You know, this is the avenue that you get there.
How long are you doing CrossFit now?
4 months.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
4
4
months.
months, yeah.
So usually, now this is not to scare you off, this is just to prepare you and clarify some things. Usually it takes people 1 to 2 years to kind of learn stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the most exciting part, because everything you do is new. Every time you come, you PR, and that's the nervous system is adapting to the new movements. It's not necessarily you getting stronger in a meaning muscles are getting stronger.
It's so excited.
Yeah. It's not necessarily the muscles getting stronger. It's your nervous system figuring out, okay, so this is how I recruit more muscles, more muscle units, better coordination, all that. And that's why it's like, oh my God, every time I'm better and better and better. And then around 1.5, between 1 to 2 years, depends on the level of athleticism or how often people coming, there is this like breaking point of, okay, well, what now? Because you'll kind of know everything, and now it's time to load more. And that's where many people fail to understand, that at that moment you still need to do the basic stuff and try to do it better, not just loading more weight, not just trying to go faster because you already know. I would not dare to say that I know how to squat very greatly. Even I do it over 10 years now. I always learn something new. Do a different grip, do a different stance, do different equipment. You know, you always need to come back to the basics and keep that hunger for learning, because only loading more is not going to get you far. You know, it will eventually stop, because the fundamentals in a year or two, you still didn't build them. You kind of like, that's your like beginner stage. Like, I kind of understand it, but
I love that.
not
I love
really,
that. I love
know?
that a sports beginner stage lasts a year. It's so like, I think that's so cool. Obviously, like for me, the whole journey now of just like learning, like you say, your nervous system and stuff like that, just being able to, 7 months ago I wasn't walking. So just being able to
You'll
move,
get to that.
just being able to move and stuff now is exciting. But going on my past and what I did in the past, it was always like there was no consideration for your body. Your body was a tool. Your body was no more important than your hockey stick or the water polo ball. So being able to just dial into my body and like, just like, you know, like learn how to move properly again.
Yeah. What you're saying is just again proving the point that you have a very good coaches and very good guidance.
Oh, yeah.
Because even in CrossFit, so many people are focused on the barbell, the dumbbell, the med ball, whatever it is, the box. Like, the point of a thruster is not bringing the bar from the ground to overhead. The point of the clean and jerk is not to bring the bar from ground to overhead. It's to do proper squat with the right set of muscles and to do the right timing on the extension, to lock it up properly, to use the right muscles in the shoulder. You know, like, it's not about the equipment. That equipment will be same at the beginning, middle, and the end of the workout. That will stay the same, unless you are very unlucky and you destroy the barbell on the way. Yeah. But generally, it stays the same. But you shouldn't. You know, you should improve how it feels, focusing it on the body, not like you said. Yeah. Most sports are like that. ball to the basket, ball to the
regardless
goal.
regardless of what this is doing.
Exactly. Yeah, swing the bat. Like you can swing the bat or swing the hockey stick, but at the end, the body is doing it. So we should focus on that, not on that hockey stick. Yeah. So just understanding this is that's a recipe for long-term sustainable training. And long-term, I mean like decades. Yeah, because at that moment, if you realize that, anytime something's wrong and you feel something in the shoulder because I pressed overhead, well, you better start to pay attention to it straight away. It's not like, well, I got the barbell there anyway, so it's fine. Well, it's not. You need to pay attention to that.
Yeah. But I think that's where the coaches are so incredible. Phil and Dane and Sam and Akil and Casey as well. Like, I think they get so sick of me because I'm always asking questions. But I'm like, it's mind blowing the way that they explain things. They don't just tell you to do something and explain the movement to you. They explain exactly what is actually happening and
what you should feel.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
They're so passionate about it, and it comes through their coaching. I mean, there's not a session that I leave thinking. I kind of think like, oh man, I took so much of Sam's time, or I took so much of Phil's time today, and I think everyone else has walked out thinking the exact same thing.
But no, I wouldn't say, or at least from my experience, the more you ask, even they learn. The more people are asking, the more you learn.
We recruit our brain to find the answer as fast as possible, because it's the class. You need to answer immediately because people watching you. People just watching you. You need to answer.
And if you don't know, and it can easily happen that you don't know as a coach the answer. Well, okay. Well, what's your role? What's your main primary goal in the gym? Is to learn that, so you can pass advice. So if you ask question that is hard to answer, that's even better. Because everybody's growing, So the more you ask, basically, you actually doing a service to the whole gym, because you stimulate them to get better, to learn more, and then to be able to provide the even better service.
It's just given me permission to ask you more questions.
Yes, absolutely. I'm open. Maybe it doesn't look like sometimes. I'm really open. I just want to say on top what Paula was mentioning. Everyone who's gonna listen to this podcast, guys, please really pay attention what you're doing from the beginning of your career with the sports, because when I came to CrossFit 5 years ago and Paula was making it with me internship, I was very hungry to lift the weights and do sometimes anyhow, because I just started to learn and earn my experience with that. And then at one point, because I have problem with my knees, I have meniscus, I have less knees flexion on the left side, then it's causing you less ability to squat deeper on the one side. So I have a little bit shift problem on my hips. And eventually I spent almost 1 year. You remember when I approached you to help me figure out what's going on with my hips. So I spent almost 1 year to figure out what's wrong. And I was stopped doing any barbells thing. And I was start to relearn all the pattern of the movement from the beginning. And eventually...
And what we use, sandbags.
Yes, we can promote sandbags. I don't mind. I use them a lot, and I like.
I'm not selling them. I just like them.
He's not incorporated with any company here. No, I just want to try to say, just look after for yourself from the beginning. I know it's very, very temp to start lifting very heavy stuff and see how it's enjoyable to make it PRs and etc. But try to as more you recruit the right muscle, as less you have pain into a lift, as more you will get better experience over long term, and eventually you're gonna stay with this forever for the rest of your life, because you will really like it what you're doing, and you will give it better outcome from all of this. So
you just passed me a great thought now. One friend of mine, we always have this philosophical talks about training and stuff through Instagram. I know him for a very long time. He's a bit older. He's than me. I mean, not older, but he's a bit older than me. But we always go back and forth with this. And sometimes when he's lacking motivation, the only thing I have to tell to him is think why you're doing it. And that doesn't mean, because people because I want to lift heavier. I was like, really? Is that the goal? Or is your goal to when you're 60, 65, you want to play with your grandchildren without pain.
Yeah.
You know, like, do you really think that one lift on random summer Wednesday in this gym will matter to anybody?
Yeah.
Like what are you going to tell your grandchildren? The stories like, yeah, I can't play with you now because, you know, that day I did that snatch and it broke my spine, you know, like.
But I have a video of
Yeah.
100 kilo snatch.
You can like it on Instagram.
It got
Yeah,
26 likes.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
video.
Like what? Exactly. I got. You know, my coach liked the video. I was like, it so much doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, so much doesn't matter how much you lift. Like when people say consistency is the key, it doesn't mean you should come 5 times a week instead of 4 times a week. It means that you should do it in a way that you can come in 40 years
Yeah.
and still do the same thing or similar thing, maybe a little bit scaled down. But why even? Like, you can still keep getting better and better and better, you know? That limits, you know, officially, this is like science of sport and strength development is telling us that at 35, people are at the peak of their strength and it will only go down from there. Well,
I was about to go whoop
I
whoop,
saw
and then I
that,
went, oh my soul.
and but you know why most likely that is? Because if you take any random sample of people around the world, yes, their strength declined after 35 because of job, because of family, because of that, because they didn't make time to actually work on it. I coach people who are fitter. They are in 40s, later 40s or mid 40s, and they are fitter than when they were 25. Because they didn't care about at that time, which is one problem, let's say, one challenge. But the other thing is that they really, really want to dial into it right now, and it's just they are fitter.
But there's also something about the way that you guys train, and you'll know why. You'll know the answer. There's something about the way that the training works, because I'm telling you now, water polo, the hockey, even some forms of, you know, like the running and stuff like that, we can't do it forever unless, like, I don't know, you do get injuries, you get, you know, that kind of thing if you do it too much or whatever the story is. But I can't keep playing water polo. I can't keep playing hockey. You know, it's just not going to happen. But CrossFit, the way that, like, with what it's doing for my body at the moment, I literally have no pain. I don't know if that's I think that's a normal thing for people, but like, I don't know, how does
Many
it work?
people do CrossFit and they have a pain because of that. That's exactly what Phil was saying. But your point, you know, there is, and this is a talk that is forever ongoing, last 20 years in the CrossFit community. There is a massive difference between CrossFit as a sport and CrossFit as a training methodology. These are two different things. I had Dane here in the podcast.
Yeah.
He said, listen, everybody, what I do is not healthy, and I know about it. You know, but he is trying to be, and he is a competitive, world-class athlete. At that level, it's not healthy in any sport, even darts, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's not healthy. It's extremely one-sided, oriented too much
Yeah, it's
into
unbalanced
intensity, whatever it
almost,
is.
actually.
Yeah. But the fact is that if the CrossFit program is run well, which obviously it is, just based on what you're saying, it is a method to keep yourself fit long-term. And again, long-term in meaning of decades.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the people who are trying to be, or even the athletes, understand this. It's the people in the middle, I call them wannabe athletes. You know, like people who are coming to a classes, but they kind of compete every day. They don't train, they compete every day.
Yes, I
you know?
understand what you're saying. Yeah.
And then they're like, they have that athletic mindset, but not fully.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the people who are getting the injuries and imbalances and all that from it. Because basically, they don't really listen, like Phil said, and they don't do what they're supposed to be doing to keep it that
And to
long-lasting
compete,
program.
when you compete, you've got to
Exactly.
you got to go and it
Yes.
goes up and down when
Yes.
it's a long-term training program. You don't just smash it out every weekend.
So it's sitting with one ass on two chairs, like you're not really an athlete, but you're not really also just doing it for the health, which means that at the end you end up with the worst from both. Yeah, you end up with the risk of injury from the being an athlete without enough compensation and health stuff from the other side. So yeah. So yes, if you feel like this, that you don't have pain, you don't have any of that, yes, you do it right.
They do it right. I just turn up to the gym.
We both do it right.
Well, but this is you have to good point. Yes, they do it right, but not everybody is responding in the way that you do. You know what I mean? There are people who they are doing it for same way that they are doing it for you, but they don't get it, and therefore they have that injuries, imbalances, and all that. Right? So it's not only one-sided. Like, oh, I have a great coach, so I'm a great athlete, or I'm doing great in the gym. Like, no, it needs to come from both sides. Yeah? There needs to be the right click from both sides.
Yeah.
So Sam, on that a little bit more serious note, even though I can already see how you will make fun of it anyway, from knowing you for 44 minutes right now. When and how were you diagnosed with the cancer? What happened? How it all happened?
This time now, yeah.
No, the
previous
first time.
It was such a fluke. I had moved towns to another job, and I needed to obviously go to the doctor, to the gynecologist. You always find one as a lady. You need to find one wherever you are. It's just done. And I remember leaving her office. I'd left her office, and I turned around. I mean, we've known each other for 44 minutes now. I walked out the door, and I do at gym, I threw a peace sign, and I was like, no news is good news. Peace. I'm out. And then within a day or two, I had about 5 or 6 missed calls on my phone from the doctor's offices, and she told me I needed to come in straight away.
How old were you?
I was asking questions now.
Or how long ago
think
was this? I can calculate that after.
It was between 6 and 7 years.
Okay, so
It was between
roughly
6 and
28,
7
29.
years. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I don't know. When you
That's fine. It's
the years just keep rolling by.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but
Okay.
yeah. So it was out of nowhere, really, and I think the worst part of it was that doctor was actually going on leave, which is why she wanted me to come in, because she needed to do it ASAP. And I said, well, actually, look, I got a bit of work going on, so maybe we can. I know, what a terrible headspace to be in, and I think we get so
like,
caught
hey,
up
cancer,
in that.
wait, I have work to
Hang
do.
on,
have
can
work.
and it's terrible. We shouldn't think like that. Like, what is that? That one saying: everything's important until your health goes, and then nothing else is important.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she obviously had to go on leave, and all my files got handed over to a new doctor that I would have to deal with going forward. And that lady went and did a little bit of digging and a little bit of research, because that's what you do when you've just been handed someone's patient file. And they found out that the previous doctor from the town where I'd lived before had picked it up when it was SIN 3. And SIN 3 means it's like precancerous, borderline, going into cancer. So you're about to get cancer, basically. So in that case, all it would have been is little up, like, oh, sorry. It would have just been like, go in, little, it's called a LETS, and I would have been done. Walked out, and it would have been done with on the same, like, within a day. And 3 years later, I had cancer. So
So they knew
He picked it up. He picked it up, but for some reason, some unknown reason, it wasn't. He didn't mention it.
What? Seriously?
Beats me. Yeah. So I didn't.
So like it was okay. So to get it straight, like he was aware that it's there, or
It was on a report.
So on a report,
Whether or
so
not
he
he
might
read the
not picked it
report.
up from the report.
Exactly. So a bit of a mistake. Bit of a
what-
small oopsie.
Yeah. And what was the like? Where was the cancer?
It was cervical
Cervical.
cancer. So it's a bit scary for a woman because depending on, obviously there's death, but depending on the severity, you can also lose your ability to have children or to conceive or to carry full term, and that's pretty scary. It's so funny that that's scarier than the alternative for me, but yeah, it's scary.
You know, I heard one story from my friend. He's a doctor, and when he was studying medicine, they had to go to work basically. You know, like doing biopsies and stuff. And he told me a story that one day there was a young lady on the table, and when they were talking about the case, she was diagnosed with cancer on, I think it was like on her womb or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uterine cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they told her that it needs to go out or she will die. And she was like, if it will go out, I will never have children. And they were like, yeah. She's like, so it's not going out. So basically, for her, it was a conscious decision that if I can't have children, what's the point anyway? Because she kind of, I don't know if she went for some alternative or, you know, she tried to heal it, but anyway, she ended up on that table.
Yeah. So this is actually
So I
the
understand what
decision.
you're saying, that it's the instincts are super strong for sure.
This is a decision that I've made too. I've made the same decision. Obviously, it's not uterine, but the recommendation is chemo and radiation, so chemoradiation, and a hysterectomy. You know, it's similar. I mean, why couldn't I have just had it in my boobs? They can take those. Like, that's fine. Like, that's easy. You know? But so I've actually said, well, we're not doing that route. We're going to go, if there is the slightest chance that I can preserve the ability to have my own children, I want to do that. I also think I'm extremely healthy, and I think I got this. So I've opted not for the radiation, not for the, definitely not for the hysterectomy. And
That would be taking it out, just to clarify.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Removing it all.
Yeah.
So I think we're just fighting it with chemo, and we'll see how it goes. So obviously keep checking in on it to see what's happening.
If you go back on that timeline, so you learn that you have cervical
Yes.
cancer. I mean, this sounds super stupid, but what it is like? Like, what were your thoughts? How did you take it? Was there some breakdown, or you were straight up a fighter? Like, let's deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I gave myself a little. I always let myself have a little wobble, you know, had a wobble, and then, well, what happens now? Like, how do we fix it? What's the next steps? Yeah, I think it's kind of like, I think it's just been programmed in me from playing so much sport, you know, like next step. It's called like the next step mentality. So you make a mistake, what's the next step? If you keep hanging on, what the last play was about.
All the what ifs.
Yeah, like you've got to, you know, like if you make a mistake in a game, you keep hanging on about that, you can miss the next play. So like, I think it's just like, what's next? Like, let's probably, you know, fix it, kind of a thing, mentality. I don't know.
And how long was the treatment, and how all that went down?
To be honest with you, I just kind of carried on with life as usual, similar to what I'm doing now. So it wasn't really, I can't tell you.
Just keep yourself busy and don't
Just
think
keep
about
myself busy. And the hospital was right up the road from where I work too. So it was like just get in, get on, get out.
Okay, so this was in South Africa,
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah.
How long was it taking?
It wasn't long. It wasn't that long at all. It wasn't as serious as it was now. It was very quick. Maybe maximum a month or two.
So they presented
2
you
months, 2, 3. Yeah.
So they presented you with options?
No. It was. It was much less.
Informed?
Yeah, like now I have like a little team. We have a little team meeting. We had a team meeting, but then it was just a matter of, this is what's going to happen.
And so
and then I had a surgery.
So you had a surgery?
Yes. So I had. They removed. Like a biopsy, like a biopsy. So it had like a small amount of chemo, and then they removed, which is also why now I'm, that the saddest part about that is that surgery also prevents you from having children. So basically after that, it was a little bit of chemo, surgery, and I walked out there after that knowing that I probably wouldn't be able to have children, which is why I'm so adamant this time that that's not the case, that I don't do that.
And so it all took a couple of months?
3 months.
And then you walk out of the surgery and you're like, okay, well, let's just keep living.
Yeah.
You're sporting.
I had a few days off. My mom flew up to come and see me after that, and then just carried on.
And what was, at that time, what was kind of prognosis? What they told you? Like, it's done and it's...
No, you need to keep going. You need to keep going in, which is something that if any ladies are watching this and they take anything away from this podcast, it is to go and just get a pap smear. Just go get a pap smear.
What's that?
Regularly. A pap smear.
Checkup.
It's just checkup.
Oh, checkup.
It takes 5 seconds. It takes 5 seconds. And yeah, it's
okay.
So simple. It's so simple.
And all right, you keep going as normal. You move to Dubai?
No. So after that whole episode, I was in a very serious relationship. I obviously was told can't have children. So for us, it never really played in my mind either. I just kind of carried on, you kind of wish and hope for the best. But we did.
And they told you that definitely you can't?
No, it was never like, it was like, well, you might not, won't, but people do, it's just...
So it's very vague.
Controversies, they cannot say exactly.
So like I got them, but their thing was no. And then it was like, but it happened to this person, so who knows. But in the end, I was in a very serious relationship, and by some massive miracle ended up falling pregnant. So we felt pregnant, and it was like the most exciting thing ever. We got super excited. The baby seats were bought. This was bought. That was bought. My sister was actually pregnant at the same time with my niece now, and it was like my whole life. Like I was like, right, I'm ready. Packed it in. No more drinking. No more going out. I'm ready to be mom. Like game on. And unfortunately, at 4.5 months, I lost it. I was visiting home. My sister and I had gone for a run, and the pain had started. So I started getting a little bit of pain. But we have really high pain thresholds, my family. So I was like, oh, that's sore. But carried on running with my sister. And I was like, yo, silly. I was like, that doesn't feel right. She's like, oh, it's probably just Braxton Hicks sore. It's probably just, like when the womb grows, or I don't know. Yeah. Came back from the run, and I just laid down, and I was like, yo, this is really uncomfortable. And went on for another day. And eventually my oldest sister phoned. She wasn't in town, but my oldest sister phoned me, and she was like, can you just stop being stupid and go to the hospital? And I was like, but it's just uncomfortable. It's sore, but it's I can deal with it, And eventually it got to the point where I went to the hospital. It was like 12 or 1 o'clock at night, and they called in the gynecologist to come. Luckily, it's a very small town, so I'd known her for a very long time. And I think those are probably the hardest words that I've heard in my life. Was I can't hear a heartbeat. So that was probably like one of the toughest things that I've ever had to hear. And I ended up, so that doctor was naughty though, because she made me, so instead of just going in for a surgery to remove, making the call and having a surgery to remove it, she actually made me go through it naturally myself without telling me, which was extremely hard.
What do you mean without telling you?
I think I don't know. I don't really know how to explain like that part. It was just, I wasn't informed that I was going to be miscarrying naturally. So yeah, basically had to do that in the hospital by myself throughout the night. It was, so the pain, the pain that I'd been feeling on the run the day before and everything, those were actual contractions. I was having contractions for a day and a half. And I was like, oh, that's a niggle, that's sore, whatever. So that was a bit of a doozy. That wasn't fun.
Did they ever found out why?
Yes, they did. It was not related at all to the cervical cancer, but it was something called Turner syndrome. So the second female chromosome doesn't form correctly.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then the body automatically just
developmental.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yes. So.
And it wasn't. And I don't want this to sound like insensitive or stupid, but it wasn't related to the run.
No,
you had.
Not
yeah,
at
just
all.
so.
Yeah.
It's just so.
I know a lot of people will think that. Absolutely not.
Misinterpretation.
No ways. Yeah. No ways. I played a hockey tournament. I mean, it was like I played a hockey tournament in the early stages. And going forward, when I fall pregnant again, I'll 100% be the same. Did you see those videos of Tia when she was?
Yeah.
Yes. So. Sam.
Sorry, I got excited there.
Listen. Yeah. It's amazing what they can do. Absolutely. Yeah. I remember Miranda Oldroy. I remember Caravab. Like many of them I was following it. Because I had a couple of ladies I was, training through the pregnancy or helping them out.
Yeah.
Just like, or kind of, let's say, semi-consulting the training and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was always following it. I always liked this topic. Actually, a couple of episodes ago, I had one midwife here, my friend Nikki, if you remember her from Goldbox. And I believe that training is extremely important also for pregnant, but you can't look at Tia and what she's doing when she's pregnant.
What is she doing?
Because like...
I was just so happy to see a woman exercising pregnant. I didn't look that closely at it, but she really does.
That's amazing. Yeah. I'm just saying that like they will do stuff like Fran, they will do stuff like handstand push-ups and all that. We need to understand that their capacity when they are full-on non-pregnant, it's very different. Their capacity when they are pregnant will be very different. You know, so just because we can do 40-kilo thrusters now, it doesn't mean we will and should do them when we are pregnant, you know?
Well, guess who's going to be training me?
Yeah, okay, great. Then,
then
I'm happy.
So don't think I'm going to do it by myself.
I was training my wife as well when she was pregnant. So this was pretty excited for me to make sure like the child will get everything from the training as well. And I just hear your story and I get flashback when we have vacation with my wife and it's our first child, Vara. So we went to the Seychelles on some island. And there is no hospital, there is nothing. And to go into the beach, we need to ride the bicycle. And there is like road, not like normal road. There is road like up and down and going all over the place.
A dirt road. Like,
I mean, kind of that road, you know.
no, dirt road. Like, there's no like asphalt.
No, there is no asphalt. There is no concrete. There is no asphalt. So you're going through the forest, you're going through the village, stuff like that. And I remember it was 4 weeks because she's supposed to have efficient delivery, like date for delivery, not efficient delivery. Official. Yeah, and then she suddenly got very sharp pain. She started to like almost crying. She like bent her belly. She sit on the stone, and this was about 40 minutes, and I was like devastated. I don't know what to do. You know, there is no one around, like, and only me and her. And like it was so many like thoughts on my head, but we didn't talk. She just said, "I have pain. I need to sit." Like I didn't ask anything. I just wait until what's gonna be next, and then it's better now. And then oh my God, thanks God, you know, like and
just a fart.
Very big.
No, sorry.
No. No, she had this sense of humor.
Yeah,
She's
of
right
course.
if you're gonna listen.
Good.
To it, yeah. So and then it was very scary me. Yeah, I don't know what you went through when doctor said it, but in that moment when I know it's anything can happen, right, to my wife and to my child, and I can't do anything because there is no hospital. There is no one who can help. Like at that moment, so it was. I mean, I have goosebumps now a lot because I remember this now, and it's like it was very, very scary, very scary.
Yeah, I think
I would be able to deliver anyway. I believe that.
you would. You would
no,
be able to.
I'm telling you.
I think you would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feel like crisis management.
Okay.
Full on.
Go to the ocean. Let's go YouTube delivering.
YouTube ocean delivery on the Seychelles beach.
On the Seychelles beach. Yeah, this was a scary moment.
Shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, wow.
Yeah, life is crazy. You
Yeah.
never know. It's so unpredictable.
And isn't it? And now, I mean, have you been thinking at that moment, like, well, maybe 4 weeks we shouldn't be here right now.
It was, you realize only in that moment, and it was discussed. We have long conversation after that, how stupid we are. So it's like there is more funny story how she get delivery, but like when the days come. But like this, let's stop on these stories. Like she actually came in CrossFit on the 6 a.m. class in goal box. And then she get the contraction, so she start to like watering and all this stuff.
Oh wow!
So she goes straight away. You remember when I leave the box? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I will leave the box, and so the baby come out 1 day before. We have supposed to be C-section, but it start to come up 1 day before.
Surprised you.
Yeah, and then she just like start to all the process, and she just going to the hospital on her own, and she called me. I think it's time. I said, okay, I come in.
Like, what are you doing now?
What you're doing?
I think we're having a baby.
And I have class. I remember it was Johan in the office. I called Richard, or I can't remember who was there, just to cover my class because I need to go.
Yeah.
Are you busy?
Yeah.
What you doing right now?
So.
When my niece was born, she did an open workout day before. Like obviously modified and everything, but she was like, she came with a belly. She did open workout. That's how I remember the month when the baby was born. It was February. End of February when the open was starting.
Unforgettable.
You'll never forget that birthday.
I will never forget.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, what's next?
Next,
what happened next?
I think from that point onward, I think emotionally, obviously because, we were taught, we had, my dad is such a phenomenal, amazing human being, and he's such a good role model. My dad was in a bus accident, a little like a van minibus accident, and he was actually supposed to get his leg amputated, and he just said no. said no. So he's supposed to get his leg amputated. He said no. So somehow they reattached whatever was going on there. I don't know. He doesn't talk about it. But and he actually went on to, like, he still played sport throughout his life. This was when he was, I think it was his late 20s, early 30s. And he still carried on playing sport. He's 7 years old today. He still paddles for South Africa. He's actually going overseas next year to paddle for South Africa. He has a 3rd Dan black belt. He's
What black belt?
3rd Dan black belt. He was
In what?
karate. I don't know which one. Shojan, is that a...
Shotokan.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll appreciate this. When we were little girls, from like the time we were tiny, we were standing there doing katas he was teaching us katas, and we'd be punching. So you would see me throw a punch. I can punch. I bring it back.
We can have some sparring after.
And like so we used to stand there, we used to go ich, ni, san, chi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju, like a little army, and kick.
Nice.
We even kick properly too. But anyway, so my dad's an absolute machine legend. He trains every single day of his life. He had he's something else. I mean, he also ended up having a 5-way bypass heart surgery. This is a brilliant story. 5-way bypass heart surgery. I come home to look after him. I've just done the grocery shopping. He's back from the hospital for 3 days. 5-way bypass. And I come home from doing the groceries, and I go through to the room where he's supposed to be. No dad in sight. No dad in sight. Look, search the house, search the garden, but I'm like, why would he be in the garden? He's just had heart surgery. I phone my mom. Mom, Dad's not home. She goes, oh, Christ. Russell. So I get in my car and I start driving. Naturally, for our family, I start driving down towards the beach. There's my father, about 2.5, 3 kilometers down, walking, still in his surgical stockings, going for a walk.
You get this compression
Of
things
you-
to your legs for the blood flow.
For the blood clots, like...
Yeah.
Did you just said major heart surgery, and he's like 2.5 kilometers down the walk.
Well, you're not going to get blood clots when you do that, right?
He's so stubborn. But anyway, so that's my dad, and he went on to do an Ironman, and like I say, he trains every day of his life, paddles every day of his life, does all the major canoe, so kayaking events back home, and I mean that's who I had to look up to. That's who I grew up with.
By the way, just a side story, and I will let you finish yours. Just talking about the blood clots, I had a classmate who he did some super basic knee surgery, like meniscus repair or ACL or something in his knee. He was supposed to take the medication against blood clots, and he didn't. Yeah, so they found him dead next to the pack of the pills that could save him. He had them. He was just, I don't need that. Yeah,
The thinners, like the thing to...
yeah. So
That's what I was petrified after my back surgery of like, it's like they put the fear of, and now I understand why.
yeah, like that is not something you decide not to do, like, or you shouldn't, like that's some serious shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I kept those stockings on for a long time. I quite like them. I still have them. Yeah.
Okay, so
so that was kind of my role model, and you just when you have like I say, when you have someone to look up to like that, everything's a breeze. But after the miscarriage, it was I wasn't really in a good place, and at that stage, my whole, like I had said to you before, I'd prepared to be a mom. My mindset, I mean, we had car seats to deal with. We had then that relationship fell apart, and it was just like I was on a free for all. Still always playing sport in the background, but my mind wasn't in the right place. I was a bit lost for a while. You know what I mean? Like I was like, well, if I'm not going to be a mom, I'm going to be best party animal that there is, and you know, you're trying to fill a hole, and what fills that hole best when you're in your, you know, alcohol.
Found an escape.
Yeah, you want to like, you know, you just find an escape. So that kind of happened for a little while, and it's not a good place to be in. I'll tell you that much. As much as I am, like a lot of people don't really believe this. They think it's a front or whatever it is. I can tell you, I laugh at myself like this at home with the bunnies. This is genuine. If what I was doing back then, that wasn't genuine.
What got you out of it then?
What got
like
me out of it?
You got the party. You got the party mindset as a escape.
Yeah.
And what brought you back?
My best friend's dad has a big role to play in that. I lived with him for a little while before I moved home and then to Dubai. John was
your best friend's
my
dad.
best friend's dad. So
Okay.
I lived with my best friend's family for, I think it was about a year and a half. And he was in a motocross accident when he was young, and he actually ended up in a wheelchair.
Is anybody like all right over there? What the fuck?
We're not all right up here. None of us are right up here.
Everybody, oh my god, this is not the greatest, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Come to visit South Africa.
come on, we're all
Commercial.
no, we're okay, but I don't know.
Well, you're tough as shit for sure.
That's for sure. They don't breed us soft there.
Yeah.
But I think I think I've met these people for a reason. I think, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was a reason that I met John, and you'll find out why now. So John was in a wheelchair, but like, when you meet someone in a wheelchair, like, I don't know how to explain it. So, you know, like I remember phoning him from here and saying, like, you know what they call people in a wheelchair here? People of determination. He was like, oh, fuck off. This man was phenomenal. He is one of the most, like, he was more active than most other human beings that I know. Like, and so you think my mindset is good. This man blows it out the water. He blows it out the water. Like, I can't even explain it to you. So, yeah, so John's in a wheelchair, and he actually passed away from cancer. So he had been fighting cancer for a long time, while I knew him, and he passed while I was over here. So that was pretty hard, and but the way that he fought and the way that he lived his life, like.
And what cancer? He got?
What was it at the end? It was, how do I not know this? It was liver and colon. I think it was, but by the end, I never really, this is the thing, you don't actually want to, see, he's the same as me. He doesn't want to talk about it. And you just kind of want to live. You don't want to be known for that. Like, so I don't think we really ever spoke about the details of it.
I want to make this clear when you said this, like, I didn't invite you because you have cancer. I invite you because who you are and how you deal with it.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference.
Yeah. It's like,
because just to make it clear, it's like that's not you.
Yeah.
You are the person who fights anyway, and who trains anyway, and all that.
Yeah, I love it. I want to.
You wanted to go one more time today, I know. We can do some workout after, but
Yeah. So John, we were on holiday, and as a family, I say as a family because he became like a dad to me too, and the drinking was just like, it was so excessive. Like, there was no need for me to, and that's what he came and said to me. And like, when a man, he was so loving. He, like, the family, him and Sam and my best friend, they just loved me. Like, no matter what I did, no matter what I said, which is like, it was so, you know, when someone just accepts you like 100% as you are. And he came to me the one day, he rolled up and he was like, Sam, why? that's all he had to say to me. He was like, why are you drinking like this? He's like, there's absolutely no need for you to do that. You are 100% one of the best humans that I've ever met in my life. There's no need for you to drink like this and get sloppy. I was like, well, if John's saying it to me, this, because I know how much he loves me. Now, if he's saying it to me, something better sink in. So, yeah, I think I was lucky enough to then, that playing in the back of my mind, I was lucky enough then to move to Dubai, and obviously I'd stopped by then. I'd stopped after moving home, so I wasn't interested in the drinking anymore. But it was still hard because that's the life that you've created and the people that you've surrounded yourself with. You get into that whole, those are your friends, and that's what you do, and that's who you are, and it becomes your whole identity.
Was it that's why you switched towns, because you wanted to get out of that environment of that people influencing you?
I think so. I think a tiny part of it, yes. Also, maybe just like a fresh start, and so and then I moved here, and it was like a completely fresh start, and like I had already started the journey a little bit, and then when I got here, because of at least what I find, I think people's experiences of Dubai are very different, but what I found is that like the culture here for me is so different in the way that alcohol isn't it's not a big thing here. It's not. I mean, I know so many people now that don't drink. I know that sounds ridiculous, but like it. Yeah, no, maybe
I'm
it's
just laughing on how Phil is looking at you, because he's a bartender.
He was a
bartender. Yeah, exactly. Like,
believe me, you not see Dubai from that side. How people like alcohol here, especially after Ramadan.
And they do. And if you get caught up into that side of Dubai, and I know people do get caught up in it, but like I was so lucky not to. I haven't even experienced it. I think I've been to 2 brunches in the 3 years that I've been here, which is like unheard of. So, and for some reason, I keep like attracting the people in my life that keep coming don't drink. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. Once I stopped, when I was back home already, once I stopped and I felt the difference physically, there's no going back for me. There's no going back. Like, and people will be like, oh, just have 1 or 2. And I'm like, I understand your concept, like, yeah, sure, balance or whatever. But I was like, but also I'm like, I don't want to put that in my body. I hate the balance thing. I don't understand it.
Balance of what?
I don't go to your poor drain cleaner down my throat.
So we can all agree, and this is not me saying it because I don't drink, but this is basically a scientific fact that alcohol is a poison. It's poisoning your body.
It's just been, what is it just being classed as? Anyway, it's literally being classed as something. I looked at it the other day.
Might be, yeah. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Just the effect of the alcohol, it's a poison. So you telling me that basically you training, having a good nutrition and all that, you're pushing too far to health, that you need to balance it
with rat poison
by poisoning yourself. Like, how stupid is that,
Yeah.
So I was just talking about it yesterday with one friend when I was on it was a gym party, and one guy, he was literally 2-3 hours talking to me about how I should start drinking because he is drinking and training, and that's a balance in life, and I'm only training, It's like, like, okay, you do you. I'm not saying you should stop drinking. I don't give a rat's ass about if he's drinking or not. But don't tell me that I should drink.
I completely agree with you. Yeah. I just.
So the balance thing, like, now and then, it's like, that's a sloppy excuse people using because they don't have a discipline not to do it.
I completely agree.
Just Paula, those people not understand us and we not understand them, and like we just live on 2 different sides of planet, so you can't just put your mindset to them because you know what is the sign behind and why it's your choice. and they're doing because it's their choice.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't want to put themselves into the position when they have some limitation for those choice. You know what I mean? So it's.
But the funny thing is that I don't remember that I would ever come to somebody, except of maybe one person who I really, really care about, and tell them like, you shouldn't drink. You know, I never do that to people. Like even they go party, they whatever. My clients, I know which one are drinking, which ones are not drinking. You know, and I never tell them like, oh, you should drink less or that. Like, if you want to do it, cool. I can provide you with the facts of what that does to you and consequences.
Yeah.
I'm never telling you what to do, but you don't tell me that I should do it. You know, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
But me and Timea, and I noticed it also, and I believe that's happening too as well. Like, I have this kind of silent effect on people. We are out with friends. They will have French fries, and I'm like, complex carbs is a no-go for me. Like, I don't do rice, I don't do bread, I don't do potatoes, nothing, yeah? And they have French fries. They will order French fries, they're eating them, and they're looking at it like, oh, it's only this. I was like, I don't care. You know, like okay, whatever. You can have it every single day. I'm not going to tell you anything. If you ask me...
I'm just not going to have it.
If you ask me if I think it's good for you, yeah, I don't think. If you want to have it every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, knock yourself out. I don't care. But I'm not having it. But just the fact that, like, I'm there and the presence, some people feel guilty even without me saying anything, you know? So that's why I don't really go out anyway.
Me neither.
There we go.
Yeah,
we can stay home together. You know?
I'm bringing my bunnies so they can play with the cat and the dog.
Yeah, they would love it. They would love it. Well, they are similar size probably, so.
So true.
You're big bunnies.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were saying no drinking anymore.
Yeah, so no drinking
Dubai
anymore.
was a good change.
Dubai was the best change. I think growing up, the way that we grew up, being as a family, we all have green blazers. So in South Africa, that if you have green blazer, it means you've represented your country. So especially in a small town, we were the key girls. It was like we were very talented. So we played a lot of sport, and especially my sisters, oh my soul, they were like, you know, and I just kind of ran along them as a little sister behind them. But it was kind of, especially being the third sister, I kind of just fell in line with everything, you know, and nothing was really an achievement. It was more of a standard to meet. Sounds horrible, but like I did it willingly.
A baseline too.
I did it happily. Don't be fooled. I was very happy to do that. But we were often watched. We were like, if that makes sense, like there were a lot of eyes on us from a young age, and I think that I was always almost putting on a show for everyone. I was kind of like, this is who I am. I've been put into this box, so this is who I'm going to be, and that's the end of that story. So I'm Sam, I'm an athlete, and I like to party. Those were my kind of three things. There was nothing else. I wasn't allowed to be anything else. Those were the three categories that I kind of fell into. Yeah, I was a lovely person for sure, but that didn't matter either. So I had a lot of friends. People, yeah.
But
yeah, and like for the people that knew me and my close friends and the ones that got close to, you know what I mean, my teammates and stuff like that, it was a different story. Those connections are always very different. But coming here, I got to just completely be myself. If I don't want to go out, I don't need to go out. I'm a reader. I read. I'm a nerd. There wasn't like and I think some people back home still struggle putting two and two together. And I'm finally just like, it's like taking a big breath. It's like, oh, you know, no one here expects me to, they know exactly who I am and they're totally cool with it, which is such a breath of fresh air for me. Yeah, I've loved every second of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sam, then if I remember correctly, last November or December, you had a spinal surgery.
December, yes.
December.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Probably for about the last 10 years, like I said earlier, I've struggled with disc degeneration on my L5S1, and it would always slip, herniate. I struggled with sciatica.
Only that one was slipping, or some others around as well?
I'd be lying if I told you. That one slipped, I think maybe one higher. I just kind of got on with it. I stopped going to doctors eventually. When it's happened. There's nothing else you can do but carry on, I guess.
Get stronger back.
Well, I wish someone had told me that then.
Yeah. Well, you know now. So.
Now I know. But I just had to. I had to carry on. You can only go to so many doctors and they just keep feeding you painkillers. But carried on playing. So for 10 years, I struggled with sciatica. Like I said, I couldn't tie my shoe. Pulling up my shorts was hard. Now imagine playing hockey. Ooh. A disco biscuit.
I need to clean up here.
Yeah. Shit. Anyway.
So for like 10 years, I struggled with pain, even throughout my career. And then when I was working 7 days a week here, coaching swimming, picking up kids, babies, carrying equipment and stuff like that, driving around Dubai, and eventually it got worse and worse. Also, I had become inactive because I was working 7 days a week. It sounds like such an excuse now, but I didn't do anything. I think for a full year, I did not do any training.
Like for yourself, you mean?
For myself, yeah. Nothing. And it just got to the point where it was so bad that I couldn't do anything. And then one day it started, it had obviously herniated. So it got to the point where the pain was the guy that I work with and my boss, we were in the water coaching because now I coach lifesaving, so we're in the sea, and I was leaning on the board, and one of the I don't know if it was the nerve, anyway, it was the most painful thing I've ever felt in my life, and I just went I lost my breath, and I went my eyes went back, and they were my boss looked at me and was like, did your soul just leave your body? And I was just laughing.
Feels like that.
I was laughing. I was standing there and I was laughing. And I was like, I can't move. And I was like, yeah. So then that was the start of it. And then it started doing that more frequently for periods of time where I actually, I would start seeing, it was so painful. I would start seeing white. And then eventually it went. I was man down for about 10 days. 10 days stuck in my apartment with the pain running down my right leg. It had ruptured. So the disc had actually... it had herniated, and then I had carried on working and everything through the herniation, carried on working full...
Yeah, why not? Of course.
Full steam ahead, and then it ruptured, and I was stuck. I couldn't move. I tried to. I was lying on the floor for I don't know how long. I had managed to somehow get upstairs into my flat, and I was lying on the floor for I don't know how long, just going what the fuck now? And I had to take long periods of time to get myself from the front door to the couch, and so that was something. 10 days like that. I had to, and I think one of the biggest lessons for me was I had to ask for help. Now, carrying myself from the front door to the couch, I can manage. Asking someone to come and help me?
That took you 10 days, yeah?
Ooh, that was tough. yeah, that was hard. So yeah, and that's where that quote comes from. That pain, that debilitating pain that would not go away. I couldn't.
So what did you like? How did you come into a conclusion that, well, maybe I should have it done. Like I should have a surgery, or like how this came. Like after 10 days of suffering, you were just like, well, I need to do something, or how it.
So I had an MRI. That's how I know it had herniated, and I had the MRI and I carried on working. So I actually did the MRI in between work, got the results. By that stage, I had to do a Zoom call with a doctor because I couldn't drive down to see him. And we spoke about the results and stuff like that. And I won't go into that, but so it had herniated. I was told that it had herniated, and then went eventually 10 days of like this pain and not being able to move or function or whatever. My friend and his wife just were like, right, that's enough. We know that, like, my whole thing was that I couldn't make it. I couldn't move far enough to get to a car to go, you know what I mean? And I didn't have painkillers. That whole process was done without painkillers. I couldn't get, because I have my ID and blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, the whole mission with getting, like, the prescription was filled out for me, but whatever, I didn't get it. So I was like, and then I didn't want to. I didn't want to either. I don't like painkillers. I don't like medication. This is ironic considering I've got gallons of cisplatin going through my body right now, but that's not. I didn't want to take. I didn't want to take. Yeah, so I didn't want to take these painkillers, and eventually my friend bought it for me. I took the tramadol or whatever it is, and I threw up. Now that's fun. Throwing up with a ruptured disc, that's a lot of fun. And then, I swore off them from that point forward. I was like, I told you this would be a bad idea. Then, so my friend and his wife come and fetch me, and he manages to get me, with the help of the poor security guard, down to their car. I'm cracking jokes the whole way. And we get to the hospital, and the doctor just takes one look at me and is like, right, let's go, straight in. Yeah. He did the test out.
Sciatica nerves, yeah.
I couldn't even feel it. I couldn't feel what he was doing to
your leg.
Yeah, the pain, like if I moved my leg, for sure, that pain I felt, but like the sensation.
Yeah.
I couldn't feel. Like I still can't feel down the right side of my leg. Yeah, so I made it to the hospital. They did the
surgery straight away?
Did they? Yes, I think they did it that night. I went in the morning and they did it that night.
Okay.
Yeah, they obviously, because medical insurance is very fun. So, but like my hospital room was like a hotel. It was incredible. I loved it.
Good stay, huh?
Yeah, and
weren't you saying like you were just considering going for some retreat or something, and then and disconnecting from everything?
Yeah.
And then it kind of happened naturally because you needed to. So
after everything that I'd been through, I was on this like big journey of like, spiritual enlightenment, and like, it was my woo-woo stuff. And I wanted to pack up everything. I wanted to sell everything. I wanted to ditch society. I wanted to go live in the forest, or go stay in an ashram and do a silent retreat, do some
forest where?
Anyway,
Anywhere.
India, Sri Lanka. I wanted to go to
South Africa.
No, I wanted to specifically
so
go
not anywhere.
Actually, no. I wanted to go where there's some religious roots. So like, yeah, I wanted to go. Buddhism is a big thing for me. Buddhism, but then there's also Taoism, Hinduism, all the isms. So
Samanthaism. All the isms.
Yeah, and I wanted to pack it all up and ditch society, off I go. And the funniest thing happened.
So this was like before this happened, yeah?
Yeah. I was like, I want to go on a journey and like discover myself and go do a silent retreat where there's no distractions.
Be very careful what you wish for because it might happen.
Yep. So I went on my journey, all right.
Shit.
Yeah. Got stuck in...
And then, okay, so after surgery, they fetch you back home?
My friend Carmen came to fetch me. Very, very clumsy friend Carmen came to fetch me.
They dropped you?
She, so I'm walking. They asked me to go in the wheelchair, and I was like, guys, come on. That's ridiculous. I'm not
had a spinal surgery.
I'm not leaving the hospital in the wheelchair. You asked me to walk, because they do that thing where you like, if you can walk... Have you ever had a surgery and they ask you, if you can walk from here to the bathroom alone, you can go home? I do it every time.
Oh, no.
I always do it. But so anyway, so these guys, I'd been in the hospital for a couple of days, and I got into the wheelchair. I rolled it to the elevator, and I was like, I'm out. I got out the wheelchair, and the nurse was just like, oh, Sam. And I was like, I'm fine. I'll be fine. I'm walking out of this hospital. Don't care what you say. So obviously I struggled a bit with my leg. But yeah, so we get into the car. Carmen helps me get into the car because I can't really move properly. And she bashes my head on her door on the way in. She forgets that she's driving me home from the hospital, and she drives like Michael Schumacher. Like, she is steaming down that highway, and I'm holding on to for dear life. And she goes, oh, she's so cute. She's so sweet though. So I can't even, she goes, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot. And I'm like,
what, you forgot? That she has you in the car or what?
She unbuckles me, the thing shoots up and hits me in the head. She tries to put the chair down. First, when I got into the car, she was trying to put that the seat back. She pushed the button, she sent me straight back. On my back like that. I was just like, I'm never calling you for help again. But you bring nice snacks. So yeah, that was a journey. That was a journey on its own. Yeah. She brought me home, like helped me with my flat and everything like that. And I ended up bed rest for about 1.5 months. Strict bed rest. I was allowed to obviously get up and move. I started doing the, toes up and down. My toes wouldn't move. They just stayed there, which was pretty scary.
Was it scary?
Scary, yeah.
How long was it for?
It was a progression. So they slowly started like twinkling. My toes started twinkling a little bit, maybe 3 weeks in.
And you were not using legs at all at that point, or how were you like functioning?
Like dragging it.
Oh, like moving
yeah, no,
legs
it would still
and...
move, but like in terms of function, it was pretty useless. So yeah, it was scary, but it was also never thought in my mind that they weren't going to work again, if that makes sense. It was never.
Okay.
I knew that I wasn't going to. I thought I wasn't ever going to be able to train at any level. Although he told me I'd probably be like, I'd be a walker. I was going to be a walker or like swim. And I was like, swum enough in my life. Swum enough in my life.
Swimming is not an option. I'd rather get into CrossFit.
And like, imagine walking. Imagine just walking as your exercise. Oh my word. For someone with my past, I'd like get jittery just thinking about it. But I knew when he even when he said that to me, it went in and straight out. I was like, sure.
There is this clip from Joe Rogan Experience, and he's talking to some lady, and she's like, yeah, but she was talking about somebody else. Yeah, he was in such a bad place, like he couldn't even train. And Joe Rogan's like, he almost gets like offended. It's like, what do you mean he couldn't train? Like, how come he couldn't train? It's like, yeah, it was just like, I think it was regarding some depression or anxiety, like mental state, not physical.
Yeah.
It's like, What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, if you can walk to the fridge, you can train. It doesn't mean...
I love that.
You know, like, it doesn't mean it needs to be a high intensity. It doesn't mean it needs to be world level performance. But if you can walk to the fridge, and that's also regarding a physical condition, then you can train. You can do some lunges, modified. It doesn't matter. It can be step up on 5 centimeter platform and then 10 centimeter platform. And then, you know what I mean? Like, if you can move around, you can also train. You can move around more. And then next time, more.
But I think that's the biggest thing that I've been taught now, starting from ground zero, was delayed gratification. So to tell someone like me to twinkle their toes, what? You know, I've got to twinkle my toes. That's my exercise. That's your exercise. That's what you're allowed to do. So best believe I twinkled my toes all day, and then it was like, right, you can rotate the
strongest toes in Dubai. I'll win this contest of the strongest toes. Because that's the only thing I can do.
Actually, you can try now. It's not that easy.
That's why you're looking down now.
Have a little thumb war. We can have big toe wars. But so delayed gratification. It's like, we don't have it these days. No one.
That's fine. Keep going.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I've been taught now. And that's another reason why the CrossFit journey is so cool for me, is because, like you say, with the scaling options and things like that, I'm more in love. I'm like more in love with learning how to move my body correctly than I am with the results.
Yeah.
That's what's more important to me.
Yeah, you know, like a lot of people just end up to be at home or just find some excuses or just have it in their head. Like, imagine the workout, what they can do, but they end up just with not having time for it. Like, for me, it's better, like, you will do 5 minutes workout, like a day, then you will have in your head like 1 hour of very good workout that you're planning to do, but you have no time.
Yep.
So this is like the first step of kind of around your mindset about that you always can exercise, like, and like through your conditions, like it's really inspiring. And like for me as a coach, I'm honestly, my heart was very melted when I first time the Hero of Hope, what Holly does in the gym. I was inspired by those kids who doing it, like, and I was inspired by Holly because like I wasn't able to do it, honestly. Like it's very hard. It's very hard just to see them. But then I saw and listened podcast and that she's playing it, like her points that I understand, like they just want to live normal life. You just want to see them like a normal kids. You don't want to feel pity for them. It's just like, you know.
And they don't want you to feel pity for
them. They doesn't want to be also like feel pity. Yeah. So it's just.
And very good point what you said, that a 5-minute workout you do is way better than an hour workout you don't do.
That in your head, yeah. So, and this is just how people end up workless for their workouts, and they just next Monday, we'll start. And
next Monday never came.
No, yeah, it's not about the date. It's about
that was me, guys. That was me. Before I had my big back blowout that year. I was nowhere. And I think that's why I keep saying it was horrible, but it was also such a blessing. I had to go through that. I had to be knocked down, like way down, for me to appreciate my body again.
And how you feel that you was nowhere, and imagine people who just have nothing wrong with their body, they're super functional, and they still nowhere. Like basically they still don't give a fuck of their life, for future, for
their health and stuff like that. Yeah,
they're still nowhere. So you shouldn't think in that way, like during that time. I believe so.
Yeah, I just I do. I think I definitely think, like, I hate it when you say that. Don't tell me everything happens for a reason. Please don't say that to me. But I do believe that. You know that. So in Buddhism, there's something called the first noble truth is that there is suffering. there is suffering. So life is never going to be always great. You know, impermanence, everything is impermanent. If you're feeling great, if you're feeling good, you know it all.
Yep.
You know, I'm on high, whoop, whoop, like right now, you know.
The only thing that is sure that it's going to change.
Exactly.
If it was too good,
yeah.
there'll be something coming.
You having a good day? You having a good day?
Yeah.
It's not going to last.
Yeah.
You having a bad day? It's not going to last.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is. So once you can accept that there's suffering and that, you know, things are going to happen, things are going to change, you are going to lose friends, you are going to lose people. That's not a negative. It's not a pessimistic point of view. It just is. And I think that's a big thing that's really helped me, is that I don't look at things and wish them to be a certain way. I don't look at things and hope them to and wish them to be a way that they aren't. This is what it is.
You know, when you said, don't tell me that everything happens for a reason, it has that really like kind of spiritual connotation into it, right? Like that vibe. How I like to think about this, you know, let's say negative things happening to us or bad things happening to us, is that everything can be an opportunity.
100%.
And it can be opportunity to grow, it can be opportunity to learn, or it can be opportunity to feel pity for yourself. You know? And sometimes, like you said, like you have your moment when you like fuck this shit, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And this kind of why me, you know, mentality. Yeah. But you can't stay there.
No.
Because that's not the way forward.
No, and a very, very, very important thing is that's a big question to stay away from. Very big question to stay away from. Why is this happening to me? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't ever ask yourself that. It's not, why is this happening to me? Because first of all, who else do you want it to happen to? That's not nice. And then secondly,
that's a very
secondly, you need to reshape that question, and you need to go, who do I want to be at the end of this? Like, not why is this happening to me, but how and what am I going to do about this situation that's going to transform me into a better person? How am I going to grow through this? Like, why is this happening for me? Just change your mindset around it. Why is this happening for me? What is this teaching me? What I need to learn through this? Like, what is...
the life is not happening to you. It's happening for you.
Well, situation, that particular situation. Like, and for me, I sit and... you said something earlier about my moment, when I have my moment. It's so important to always be aware and to always stay present, because if you get sucked into that, like, okay, I'm sad. Yeah, I have cancer. Of course I'm sad. But like, if you get fully sucked into that, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole like this. I'm so sad I have cancer, but I don't want to have cancer. Like you become the emotion. I am sad now. Like, whereas I go, yeah, I'm sad about that. And then, you know, like,
yeah, of course, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean fooling yourself and not acknowledging how you feel.
Yeah, I'm sad about it, but I'm not going to like, well, you know what I mean. I'm also happy about going to the gym, and I'm also what is happening in front of you right now. Like, that's what's really important. Like
you said in that thing, what is on your plate?
What is on
right
your plate?
Now?
Yeah, like right now. That's how I get through everything. That's how I get through the day. First of all, I wake up. I don't wake up and go, oh, another day and I'm busy fighting a battle with cancer. I'm not in a movie. This isn't a movie. I wake up and I'm like, okay, you know, like, what's happening right now? And I started for a little while. I did this thing. This was before the diagnosis, but I read this thing somewhere and I was like, I've got to try this. So you wake up and you force yourself to smile. Force yourself to smile when you wake up in the morning and see what happens. It's so funny. I was like, this is ridiculous. But
I'm going to try it tomorrow.
Please try tomorrow. Fake a smile. Force yourself to smile as you wake up. It's ridiculous. I wake up at 3:37 in the morning and I'm like, bing, regardless of whether I'm smiling or not. But so what it
does for you?
I don't know. Apparently it just makes you, like, you trick yourself into being happy. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And it doesn't make a difference to me.
No,
I'm still. Okay. I wake up like this all the time. As my eyes open, I'm like, let's go.
Maybe there is 3 sets of 10, or maybe there is any different of them. You need to smile in different way.
Yeah. Look at your workout with a smile.
I do though. I'm one of the people that do. I'm like, ooh. But maybe it's still because I've got all the like modifications that I'm still smiling. But yeah, and then I think it's a matter of like I get to the training session and I'm not thinking about like, oh, I'm gonna be so tired. Oh, I'm gonna like bail on this. This is gonna suck, whatever the story is. I'm just like, right, one foot in front of the other, one foot to the bar, one hand on the bar, like just stay completely present. And that's a beautiful thing about sport, is that for a lot of people, they don't realize it, but sport is a lot like meditation. The mind is just like running for some people. The mind just empties. You're not thinking about anything. It's one foot, other foot, one foot, other foot.
Well, actually, going back to what we were talking about before, I agree with it for some people.
Yeah.
Because it's only the people who supposedly, let's say, do it right.
Yeah.
Because many people go for a run and they overthink the whole time and they beat themselves the whole time. It's like, oh my God, and I still have this. And it's like, oh, I want it to be over, and they just think and think and think and think.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like,
yeah.
They're overthinking. They're stuck in their thinking mind. So when you start cultivating that like witness, the person that's like, they're like, just let your thoughts come and go, man. That's why sometimes a run can be so good for you if you're in the right space and you've practiced that mindset. Like, I know a lot of people laugh at meditation, but it's like training a muscle. You're training your mind. Like a lot of people, when it comes to thinking and thoughts, they're like, think yourself happy, or your thoughts create your destiny, or whatever the story is. And I'm just like, well, first of all, your thoughts aren't really real.
You have 60,000 thoughts a day.
Your thoughts are not real either. Like,
it's like, what matters is which ones you pay attention to, and which ones you want to keep exploring into. Some people, like for example me, low intensity monotonous activity is not going to do it for me. It's like I will overthink there. Like if I need to focus on something. What really helps is focusing on breathing, because it's still you. It's introspection.
Yeah.
Like meditation.
Oh, exactly. Meditation.
Yeah. So
exactly.
You focus on the breathing.
Yeah.
You can do that. If you just go and let it go, I'll start to overthink, on like run, bike, row, whatever it is. But if the challenge is good enough, for example, doing a little bit more advanced movement, or doing some workout with some rep scheme, or doing jiu-jitsu, where, hey, you really don't want to think about anything else when there is somebody else trying to choke you out.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
You need to be right there. You need to be 100% there.
Yeah.
Believe me, if people are training they doing this kind of activity, if they're doing some sparring, or they are trying to get some technique, you can't be anywhere else. There's no way you're thinking about what's for dinner, or what's your meeting tomorrow, when there is somebody on your back trying to tear your head off. You just have to be there, Or what's the point even trying, because, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think, one of the reasons that training for me now has become almost like you say, they're two different ways, like the slow, steady one, which is just beautiful. Love that. Like that's what happened the other day when I went for that short run that ended up being a half marathon. I started a 5K and I ended up running 21, because it was just like, I was just there, tick, 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 going for the run.
And were you aware of the time and the distance is like different than it was at the beginning?
No, I knew, because for the first 5 kilometers I was doing intervals.
Oh, okay.
And then I got to 5 and I was like, no, man, let's just do 2 more. Come on, 7's my number. 7 is like my go-to for a run. Got to 7 and I was like, what would be really cool?
Do it 3 times.
Exactly. That would be cool. So only hop a 7 at night.
What's better than 7? 3 times 7.
21's a nice number.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did it. But like, there's something so beautiful about having that's what I say in that quote too about discomfort, you know, and about training and pushing yourself to that level, because that is where anything happens. That is where any growth, and that's why I said it, because any growth in life is going to come from that level of pushing through that discomfort. I mean, what happens to, you know, when you're building muscle, when you're working a muscle and the muscle fibers, what do?
Well, they break down.
Oh, they break down, and then what happens?
Yeah. Well, then they rebuild.
Isn't that funny? You know, don't they come back stronger?
Oh, if you do it right, yes.
Oh, isn't that fascinating? You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly on a cellular level. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it just, for me, it was like,
and that's the thing that people should realize also regarding nutrition and all that. Yeah, like, to get better, you need to kind of like take a step back, right? The training is when you're not getting better in the training, you're actually breaking down shit in the training, so you can get better later. Yeah, so it's always one step back, two step forward. It's always like you can't just jump it, you know? The muscle is not going to rebuild itself without breaking down first.
that's fascinating. I love that. I didn't know that much detail, but I did know the little bit.
But you said it yourself. This is just the timeline of it, right? Like, you can't rebuild something that is not broken.
Yeah, so it does. So it,
you know what I mean?
It's just like, it's and it's so true for life as well. It's so true. I mean, how many times in my life did I have to get knocked down until eventually, like not this last time with the back surgery, eventually it just went like, every time was like building me into a better person, you know, like every time. Obviously, there was a middle period there I wasn't quite sure of myself, but even that was...
you learned something from that as well.
Yeah, I did.
You know, sometimes when you don't know what you want, you first need to find out what you don't want.
Oh, I found out. I found out.
And Sam, what is with that remission thing?
That was
that was after the spinal surgery, yeah?
No, so that was the gap between my two cancers. So cervical cancer, and then I was in remission for 6 or 7 years, and now, so this is the second time now. There is second relapse.
And you were second time diagnosed after the spinal surgery?
Yes, now the other day. Well, not the other day, like a month ago.
A month ago?
Yeah. Yes.
How that...
2 months ago?
I don't know. How that happened? So you're already part of Sense CrossFit that time?
Yes.
You're already training?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, and then you just go for some, regular checkup or?
About a month and maybe 6 weeks. Let's say 6 weeks. 6 weeks ago, I went for, to get something removed out of my arm, to have this, it's like a hormone thing. I don't know what I'm so bad with the knowing, like, I'm just like, I trust you guys, whatever. But, so I went in to get that removed. Same thing again, your standard pap smear. And not a word of a lie, but I walked out there, threw the peace sign. Bye. Same thing again. It's like my go-to whenever I leave somewhere. I just like throw it over the back and go. Obviously, I say bye nicely first. But, and then there we were.
And it's the same thing?
Yes, same thing again. It's come back.
Same thing again.
Yeah. It's like late stage 1B, stage 2, like right in the middle. All fun and games in the middle there. I couldn't even make that simple. You know what I mean? Had to confuse it there too. So,
And what is the plan now?
They have...
Outside of, I need to state this fact, you are going for chemotherapy now?
Yes, I am.
And you still train every day?
Twice a day.
So the rule is you need to train more than you go to chemo.
Yes, exactly. So sometimes 3 times a day. But let me put this also into perspective, is that I am on holiday at the moment. So I'm on holiday. I have an exceptionally physical job. So I've taken that whole portion out of my day-to-day life. And so now, I wake up in the morning. The first thing I do is go have a session at Sands, and then I come back in the afternoon and I'll do another session, either gymnastics or the weightlifting or...
Oh, you won an award now, right? You're a member of the month, actually.
They did that because I have a nice personality.
No, they did it because you worked so hard.
Yes, like, come on.
Nobody cares.
And then sometimes like I want to do a little bit more. I feel it. It's not because this is telling me, it's because this is telling me. Like I've still got juice left, maybe a bit of both.
So it's
it's
not necessarily just the addiction, the mental one, but you just feel that you can.
Yeah, I got some gas in the tank. You'll know, like Phil and them will know if there'll be a session where I'm like standing there over the bar and I'm like, my tank is empty. Because I can feel it. I feel you know what I'm saying? Like I know the difference between, okay, I've ruined myself and I actually need to have like a rest day, or that was a hard workout. Like I've started,
How? Like, how do you eat? What's your nutrition like?
Nerd. I'm like, I eat predominantly plant-based. I don't want to say I'm vegan because I'm not like, predominantly plant-based. So I don't eat dairy. I don't eat any of the complex carbs, like you said. I stay away from all of those. I had fries for the first time yesterday as a treat. I had fries for the first time in maybe over a year and something. I can't tell you when last I had fries. I eat, basically plant-based, pretty much.
And so what do you eat? You said all you don't eat.
Yeah, what do I eat? Oh, man. So, like, my favorite things at the moment are a kale salad, a kale and walnut and cranberry, but it's like really finely, someone said it the word the other day, like pulverized. So I put it into my mixer and I like one of those salad things and I chop it super fine. And then I chop the tomato super fine, cucumber, pomegranate. That's like my go-to. I have like a massive tub of that. And then I eat a lot of quinoa. And then tofu. And I kind of stick to the same things because they're so simple to do. I do meal prep. And plant-based yogurt with cinnamon. I kind of keep it like pretty much the same. And then vegetables. I love my vegetables. So,
and what? Okay, first of all, why plant-based? Like, what made you not to eat meat, dairy, eggs? Do you eat eggs? No.
Baby birds.
Birds is good, but
I'm just kidding. But no, I feel better. I feel better. I feel lighter. I feel more I have more energy. I don't have brain fog.
And you tried
physically.
Have you tried the same what you do, but adding some high quality meat?
Yes, I have.
And
they laughed at me the other day because I tried,
good?
and no.
Okay.
It didn't really. I've like bloated and let me. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I am so regular. Like I wake up in the morning and it's like I know what's happening.
Okay.
And the second I go off anything, the second I change anything up, I tried my best to add meat in, and my body just said no, not happening. Sorry.
And you look like I'm not really into counting macros or calories or anything, but do you have some idea of if you're getting enough protein at least?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So how much you have?
I have, I don't know if it's enough, if I'm honest, but it's enough for me. I'm like,
okay. So what do you have?
Again, I play it by feel. So like I have a protein powder that I have.
So you do some protein. Okay.
Yeah, but that's like very rare. That's rare. That's if I know that I haven't eaten enough that day or whatever the story is. But my protein sources, so I can't tell you how much protein I'm having. I just know that the sources that I'm getting them from, so like my Greek yogurt, the plant-based Greek yogurt, like I know how to read the label and work that out. that makes sense. And I just make sure that I'm getting like around, is 60? 60? Is that fine? I don't know. Should I be doing more?
Probably it would be good. A little bit more.
How do you eat that much?
Well, we eat meat. You know? Just saying.
And then,
when you ask.
Yeah,
or eggs,
and then a lot of like, so my favorite thing also at the moment, I'm obsessed with it, is that peanut butter powder.
Okay, well, peanut butter is high on protein, high on fat as well, but high on protein.
But this one isn't. The powder is like completely reduced. I don't
Reduced what? Protein or fat?
Fat.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with peanut butter. It's bad. That's why I had to I stopped buying it for a long time because it was like, you're going to overeat this stuff. I know you are. So I just stopped buying it. And then when I found my friend told me about the peanut butter powder, it's like a third of the usual fat.
And how do you, it's a powder.
It's a powder, but you put water in and it turns into peanut butter.
What?
PB2 Fit. Yeah.
Really? And that's natural shit?
Yeah. It's not a
It's
naughty.
like dehydrated peanuts or what?
Yeah, something like that. But I promise it's not bad. It's like a...
Okay. And so you add a certain amount of water into this powder.
Yeah.
And it turns into peanut butter.
Yep. And it's like... So, the calories are really low. The fat's really low. And then the protein is kind of the same.
Fair enough.
I know.
I will look it up, but...
Do it, actually. And then tell me what your opinion on it is.
Okay.
I want to know that.
Sure.
But yeah, so, I mean, like, I think I could do better. In that sense, but I'm healthy. I know that. I'm not fighting. So, like, something that really stuck with me was, are you feeding cancer or are you fighting it? What are you doing? Like, in terms of my nutrition.
Yeah.
Am I really going to be worried about my, like...
You know what I heard? And now, I don't know, like, it just, like, popped in my head right now. And now I'm not giving this, 100% not giving this as a medical advice. But I heard that somewhere there are some tribes who they have, it's not like their diet is based on that, but they eat a lot of apricot seeds. The
That's
seed
hard.
from well, they don't chew it, like they like grind it or something.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah,
Why doesn't they like?
those are pretty.
I was eating a lot in my childhood.
Yeah.
The green
So
ones.
supposedly apricot seeds, like these people who eat them, it prevents cancer and it treats cancer as well. Like it's like anti-cancer
I'm gonna go find those.
thingy.
That
I mean,
powder.
definitely look into it first. Because there's also some cyanide in it, yeah. So you shouldn't overdo it, but not toxic for humans if you have 1 or 2 a day for sure, yeah. But I'm saying, like, I'm not saying it as a medical advice to anybody. However, there is a pretty strong evidence that this is the case.
Well, let me tell you, I used to joke a lot about I always said if my cancer comes back, I'm not going for treatment again. I'm out.
Really?
Yeah, I said I'm going to go live in a hut and deal with it the natural way.
So,
if you know what I mean.
So when is that happening?
Well, it's not.
Well, it's not because there is no CrossFit in the hut.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no CrossFit in the hut. There's no like, I found it, but you know what I mean? It was like, and I think I said that because I had a life that I wouldn't mind getting away from. I wouldn't mind, like, I wanted to go to the jungle. I wanted to go to the ashram. I wanted to go somewhere that was peaceful. There was a good life, you know, one where I was like in the right space. And I just happened to find that in a CrossFit box. The biggest hippie in the CrossFit box. What is that? I walk in there barefoot. You know that?
That's good.
I really appreciate that.
like training
I really
barefoot.
appreciate that Sans accepts me the way I am.
Maybe that's why they start to clean the floor so much now.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
but yeah. So
Sam, I
I'll
wanted to
take an
ask you.
apricot seed.
Yeah, let's look it up. Question for you regarding the chemo right now. Like, how often you have to go? Is it like? I believe it's very taxing for the body because it's like fucking chemicals directly to your veins, right? How are you dealing with that?
It's rough on some days. But I had that party animal face to train me with the hangovers. So
How? Okay. So your alcohol days are coming handy because it feels like hangover.
you know what? You got to
now,
train for something. You've got to train for things, and I trained. No, no. In all seriousness, the nausea, the fatigue. Funnily enough, is it fatigue though? Because for some reason, as soon as I'm in a session, it's game on.
And you go the same day.
I saw her. She walked in the door and she has those things after, I think, the chemotherapy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't paying attention first. So maybe it's this blood test in the morning or whatever reason it was. And then I saw workout to start, or we went through some build up for clean. I can't remember what workout was, but then I see she start to cry, like literally, and I don't know what it is. So I didn't approach to ask what's going on. I just see after sometimes she starts to move again. So I say, okay, that's kind of weird for me to see, but then I didn't know that she had cancer at the time. So she didn't tell. I mean, maybe she told to other coaches, but I didn't know at that time. I don't know, maybe it's the first week or maybe it just started. But then I think in the same day at evening, or it was next day in the morning, then you come and you tell me that I going through those stuff.
Yeah.
So and then I was.
When coach asks you at the beginning of the class, like,
how is everyone feel?
How is everyone feeling? Is there anybody with some injury or condition I should know about? I would say that you should inform them, maybe not in front of everybody if you don't want to, but I mean, it would be nice to actually inform them.
No, for me it was like very big shock, and you can imagine how much you was like. I believe it's a big experience for the coaches to see like person like you going through the pain and do exercise, which is help you to feel better and like to improve your like health condition.
Yeah.
So I think it's the big thing, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think, you kind of just forget who you do tell. So I probably should have. I think it's, there's just something about being like, and in those first few days, I was like a little bit of frustration, like, but you feel fatigued, you feel nauseous. Like I say, it's like a lot like a hangover, and I think in that first week I was frustrated, man. I was so frustrated.
Oh, I mean,
Like,
only week. That's yeah. Just to put this into perspective, I experienced probably 10, 12 years ago. I was going for some seminar that was hosted for a week. It was in Czech Republic, and there was one of the coaches was from Poland, and he was like a world capacity in the field. And he was going because he used to be a national team, and he did a lot of steroids in judo in Poland.
Okay.
And he also admitted that he probably has the cancer because he did that. Because he did human growth hormone, and he said that there isn't much things he didn't do. Yeah, so like they were doing everything they could. And he was there with us for a week in between his seventh and eighth chemo cycle. Usually people after first one, max second one, ask family and doctors that they just want to stay in the hospital because even going home is just too hard. So just putting that into perspective, like, and you just do the cycle, you go to a gym, maybe you cry a little bit because you're frustrated.
Not anymore.
Yeah, but
That
I mean,
first week I did,
first time, yeah.
First week I was like, what is this? This is unacceptable.
And then you just like keep going. Like, that's fucking crazy to me. But in the most positive way, like, when I talk about people asking about the podcast and stuff, and like who's coming next and what's the episodes, I was telling them, like, guys, this will be a massive story now. Like you will see, because like this is insanely inspirational for anybody. And then I just had a conversation with one lady, and I was like, you know what I would like to see? I would like to see a person who is lazy to come to the gym, to come here, sit opposite of you, look you in the eyes, and tell why they're not going to the gym. Like, tell me here in front of Sam, who is fucking like killing it, going still with almost like needle sticking out of her arm after chemotherapy, going to the gym, doing her best, and it doesn't matter. Like you, couple of times you mentioned like, oh, because it's scaled and so on. So hey, nobody gives a shit about if it's scaled or if it's not scaled or what you lift. Like just the fact that you're going there. And you're going there 2 or 3 times a day, disregarding if you have a job or like, if there is anybody in the world who would have an excuse not to do it, it would be you. And you're still there.
Yeah.
And that's, like nobody has a right to say that they are busy at work and they don't feel like fuck you. Like what do you mean you don't feel like it?
Yeah, I think often like, and I try and when you do come across those kind of people, and even even within your training circles, you come across the people who are not having a good time. They're doing it, but they're like hating it, and I'm like, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing something wrong if you're not loving the training. Like I get there and I'm like bouncing on my heels, like, ooh, let's go. do you know what I'm saying? So, and this is coming from someone who did fall out of love with training. I was doing it wrong. I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was thinking of the outcome, not the process. And you can't do that. You gotta love the process too. You can't just be thinking of winning stuff and making teams and that sort of thing. You've got to love the actual game and the training too. So I like to talk to them. So if that person did come to me in the gym, I wouldn't be like, you lazy son of a beep. I'd be like, what do you feel? What do you feel now? Like, how do you feel towards training, and why do you feel that way towards training? And
but
what are the blocks?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
From my perspective, like even as a coach and even as a coaches, like we can do only so much, and we are not babysitters, and we are not there to walk people by their hand
100%.
Through everything. Like you need to come and you need to want to do it. Then we are there to help.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have a hard time because of your life situation, whatever, which comes very funny talking about it to you, but if somebody has because it's just ridiculous,
Just normal life.
No worries. But like if somebody has a life problems, the biggest air quotes in the world, and they like don't feel like it because they have a tough period and they had a fight with somebody or the boss is a jerk. Like, okay, so you're not feeling really motivated right now. Okay, well, motivation is secondary. First of all, dig in your discipline and straight up, like you said, why you actually going there. Like if you ask people, I ask you, like, why are you going there? Well, because I would like to try this local competition. Okay, imagine there is not the local competition. Would you still come? Well, if the answer is no, then you're there for a wrong reason. Yeah, because once that competition will not be on the plate for whatever reason, it can be cancelled, or you will get some injury, or you will just get some restriction that you can't go. Like what? Like now you stop training? Like that's not how it works. Yeah. Exactly what you said. Focus on the process, not the outcome, and everything will fall into the place. Yeah. Sam, how many times a week you have to go for the chemo?
At the moment, it's 2.
2 times a week.
2, yeah. Because I've said no to. I think I told you guys earlier. I said no to the radiation, no to the hysterectomy. So, now it's like a little bit harder. We're loading. It's loading week.
That's what matters, I ask her about... No,
not in training. I'm saying the chemo.
The chemo.
I'm transferring it to
to
CrossFit terms. I'm loading in the gym and it.
I thought I asked you about chemo and you're telling me about your back squats. Okay. Sam, what is kind of like, what is the next? What is next step? What is the prognosis? What is going to be the path from now?
Playing it by ear? I'm kidding. I'm actually not really, but I am playing it by ear. It's kind of a I go in and check and see how far along they are. What's actually happened. Is the staying the same? Is it getting smaller? What's going on with this? So
and is there a kind of plan for eventually having another surgery?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. I mean, fingers crossed. I mean, in a perfect world, I'm hoping in a perfect world, my body plays ball, and maybe I don't have to have.
In the best case scenario,
maybe I only have to have a really, really small one.
So if the apricot seeds will kick in.
Yes. Yes.
Cool. Sam, is there anything you want to add, or Phil? Anything you want to add?
You go first.
No, you go.
No, let me think a little longer.
I can sing in the meantime, and you can
yeah, you sing in the meantime. Tell us about your trip through the Shire and what did you see that? What he's got up there? It's amazing.
No, I didn't see it.
Very cool.
I know that's yeah. So
somebody should invite you for the podcast and tell your story now.
Yeah, I turned the tables on you.
I'm better at asking questions than answering them. Because all my answers are, it depends, Yeah. So.
It's no right or wrong answer.
No, I think I just somebody asked me the other day if what advice would you give? What advice would you give to yourself if when you were 18? Always ask that question. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always like, absolutely nothing. I wouldn't say a thing. I 100% think that I needed to go through everything that I've been through. As hard and as tough as it is, I think I needed to go through everything that I've been through. And I think I'm starting to really appreciate myself enough now that maybe I'll be able to turn the story around and help other people. I think there's a fine line between that, though, because you don't want to help people so far as you take them off their path, because I think everyone has a path that they have to walk. This was mine. No one could help me on it.
But they did.
No, I mean, help.
They can't walk it for you.
They can't walk it for me, but I had to do it. I had to go through.
Same way you can help other people to kind of navigate.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll help you navigate it. But there's certain things in life that you're just going to have to go through. And like I say, don't ask why it's happening to you. Don't ask why it's happening to you. Just, you've got to reshape that. You've got to reframe that question. Yeah, I think get comfortable. It's the most important thing. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's where your growth's going to lie.
This so-called saying or whatever, motivational quote or whatever we would call it, get comfortable with uncomfortable. It's a very different perspective when you say it in this context,
Yeah.
It's like, no, it doesn't mean be okay when it's hot outside and it sucks to run, that's a very tiny part of it.
Yeah, that's a tiny part of it. So I fought a lot of battles in my mind, my first few weeks of training. And I think if it hadn't have been for, I said it, it's written under that post there, but lying there for that first 10 days with the ruptured disc and the pain going down that leg there, I couldn't move. I'm not saying move. I couldn't move without blacking out or vomiting. So for me to get to the kitchen, to get off the couch, in itself was like a mission. And I had 3 things to do. I had to achieve 3 things. It was feed the rabbits, feed myself, or go to the bathroom. I had to choose between one of those 3. And generally the rabbits won out because they're my children. So it was rough. It was rough going. And to lie there and for some reason I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm lying here. My whole body is all I can think about is this pain. It's what's going on here? Like, this is ridiculous. The pain's in my leg, you know, and I did. And you get to that place where you are so aware and it was insane to be able to like play around with it and to go into your body and to go into your mind and just sit and go like, okay, the pain's there. The pain is there. And just relax. Because that's what I mean when I say like anything uncomfortable in our life, we just like, oh no, not dealing with that. And that's what your body does. You do that right from your, like on a cellular level, we do that. You slam your hand in the door. It's like, poof, the whole world ends. Like, oh my God, the pain. It's like, it's just, you slammed your hand in the door. You know what I mean? Like, you just go to everything, you close it and you fist it and it's like that. It's like, just relax, breathe into it. Like, just breathe into it. And that's what I did with my leg. I was playing around with my leg going into it and just like, this doesn't need to be tense because this is tense. This doesn't need to be tense because this is hurting. Like, just breathe into it. Like, everything just goes like this. And we do the same thing in our life as well. Like, any form of discomfort. Okay, like, we've got a 5K coming up. Okay, yeah, I ran a 21K, but like the 5K is scaring me because it's for time and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm going through chemo, so I'm a little bit tired and I don't think I'm going to be as fast as I want to be and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, 5Ks on Thursday or Wednesday or whenever it is. Like, it's just a run. You know, like, whoa, chill out.
You're going to be as fast as you're going to be.
You're going to be as fast as I'm going to be. Like, and equally, when I am fast, that's a different moment. That's later. That's like, why am I worrying about that? It hasn't even happened yet. I'm buying into a story that's not even real. It hasn't even happened. I'm upset about something that hasn't happened.
Might not even go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
For
I mean?
whatever
Like,
reason.
how insane is that? But yeah, it's just like, even when I am there and I am going to do the run and I'm in the run, you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm going to be nauseous. I'm going to be fatigued. It is what it is. And now I can either sit and fight through every single step that I take on that run, or I can just go, here we go. Trot. Think about like, just clear the mind and just run. I don't know how to explain it. It's just soften. You just got to soften around it. Like.
So you're saying that you need to toughen up to soften.
You got to soften to toughen up. You got to soften around it. You got to just relax around it.
Let go.
Know? Yeah. You let go around the pain when it's a physical pain. I don't know if you've ever you pull something, you will like tweak something and like everything goes oof, like that. You know, you cut yourself and you're like,
also
whoa.
on little things. Now, obviously, what you're dealing with is a different level. But on the little things like when it's pulled muscle or some discomfort in shoulder and this and that, it's like many times the main mistake people do is that they pay too much attention to it. You know, like sometimes, it's not the end of the world. You can just like walk it off.
Yeah.
You just go, next day you will wake up without it. Or if not, it will be just lesser. And that's fine. Like there is not a solution for everything. Like you need to go to check up a doctor because you pull this and you feel this. Like, of course, if it's some serious stuff, swelling, whatever, okay, be cautious, be smart.
Yeah.
But don't obsess about every little thing.
Yeah. It's like but my in those first few weeks when we were training, and I was like, you know, it was so tense and like I was like, oh no, it's happening again. Here we go. You know, like I've gone and done it now. Joined CrossFit. My mom told me I was being, this is too soon. And
Mom always knows, huh?
yeah, mom always knows. And Dane was just like, okay, just come here. Just do this for me. Just do that for me. Just do this movement. And I like walked out of there. I was like, here we go. All fine. No feeling, no pain. Like, what is that? Just like little things like leaning over now because all those lower back muscles are learning how to work again after 10 years. Like, let's put that into perspective. Not learning again after my surgery, like learning after 10 years. What I'm doing at SANS is correcting 10 years of damage, not just this. the surgery wasn't, he didn't go and put things in, put a fake disc in. All he did was clean up and remove lamina, shave bone down and go, here's a fresh start, kind of fresh start. What you do now, that's going to make the difference. So like all those muscles are rebuilding now.
And also that injury didn't happen in that week or 2 weeks prior or even half a year prior, right? Like there was whole life build up there. So.
Yeah. And then the moment I stopped training, the moment that just shows how important training is. That year when I had moved here and I didn't train, bang. Just shows you how important it is to stay active. Yeah.
And there is another subject when people get injuries, they stop to train. Yeah.
Yep.
But you still can actually do a lot, like regardless your injury or whatever it was. So I just will be as short as possible, like very inspiring story. I'm glad I know everything what happened to you and what you've been through. Like it's, throughout my 5 years, I met different type of people. I see different type of excuses. So you're the biggest one. I'm joking. So basically, it's unbelievable. Once person have everything, and he told me, "Oh, I can't come." And I know there is the reason not like relate for something important. It's just because the person just don't willing to put the work on, and it's really really inspiring. So just want to say, appreciate your health and do everything for health. Like that's it.
100%.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do as much as you can, but not more.
As much, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, don't overdo it either.
Yeah, but I do. I have to say, like, I think they never take me seriously when I say this, but I don't know where I would be mentally and physically if I hadn't walked through the doors of SANS. I don't know. I can't tell you.
Do you know what was the Kanye's West speech when he won the award?
No.
You know Kanye West?
Yeah?
Yeah, so he won some award. I don't know what was it.
Yeah.
Like academia or something. I don't know. And he was there and he stood up and he said, everybody's wondering what would happen if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know. So you don't have to wonder. You don't have to wonder what would happen if you don't go there because
I did,
you did, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
Yeah.
Guys, I actually noticed that the video is fucked up because my memory was full, so no video.
That's fine.
But we'll replace it with some picture.
But
Okay, so I just made Sam's day. Well, we'll still figure out something.
But
Anyway,
it was very good on the video too.
yeah. From all sides. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.